Hi, I'm Matthew Buzzy from PCMag.com here with the Dell G5 15 SE gaming laptop. This is a budget gaming system, and the SE stands for the special edition of this laptop, which in this case gives you this nice shiny lid as well as an all AMD configuration. That means there's both an AMD GPU and CPU in this model, which is a pretty rare thing, though becoming a little bit more common these days. As a budget gaming system, this costs $1,200 as configured, though it starts around $880, so you can definitely get it cheaper. $1,200 is closer to the top end of what we consider entry level, but it's still relatively affordable for a gaming laptop. That means the build quality is good, not amazing. It's all plastic. The nice shiny lid is good, but otherwise it's pretty basic. You have gray plastic on the bottom and black plastic everywhere else. The quality of the keyboard and touchpad is again good, but not amazing. It feels satisfying enough to use and type on, gives you everything you need. This thin bezels on the side are appreciated, although the bottom and the top bezels are a little thicker than some of the more sleek premium laptops that we've seen lately. What the slightly thicker 5.5-pound chassis does get you is a better port selection than average. You have kind of everything you need here, including Ethernet, which is pretty rare, but gamers definitely appreciate that one for more reliable, faster speeds. On this side, you have an SD card slot, as well as a few other useful ports, so pretty well equipped in that front. Two last things the larger frame gets you are the number pad squeezed in on the side here, and a larger battery, which gave us a pretty good 7.5-hour result on our rundown test, which is a pretty good time overall, especially for this category. Moving on to the gaming related features, the display is full HD and has a 144Hz refresh rate, which gamers will love to hear. Powering this system is an AMD Ryzen 7 CPU and a Radeon RX GPU. So that's the all AMD configuration that I talked about. In addition to that, there's 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. 512 gigabytes is fine for most uses, but it's becoming increasingly limiting for gaming. It's not really the fault of this laptop in particular. Game sizes are just becoming so big that it's getting a little restrictive, and I would love to see larger drives in all of these laptops in general. So with those components, at this $1,200 price point, you get better than 60 frames per second AAA gaming, although I expect more demanding super modern titles will need you to dial down the settings a little bit to maintain that 60 frames per second, but in full HD you can do it in many of the titles. You can make use of the high refresh rate screen in competitive multiplayer games that aren't so visually demanding, which is a good fit for this sort of more mainstream laptop, and those sorts of gamers will like that combination, I think. This is the first time we've tested this particular AMD GPU, and we found it to be roughly equivalent with NVIDIA's 1660 Ti, which is a good 1080p 60 frames per second graphics card, so that's pretty good. In some games though, it did lag behind. We saw differences of, as much as 10 to 15 frames depending on the game. Game variance is normal, but it's roughly in the same ballpark. I would still give the edge to NVIDIA. But the CPU was better at multimedia tasks. So if you edit photos or video and you want to do that on the side, maybe not professionally, but if you're a hobbyist or it's just something you like to do, this laptop can do it better than a lot of the Intel systems we've seen at this price range. Overall, there's a lot of positives about this laptop. You got the 144Hz screen, 60 frames per second AAA gaming, you have a lot of ports, and the CPU we found to be better than a lot of the competition, so it's quick for pretty much every use case. On the downside, the design is sturdy, but we do find it a bit basic, and it is heavy at 5.5 pounds, and as I mentioned, the storage at 512 gigabytes is a little bit restrictive for gaming. You can get this for less than our $1,200 review configuration, but at that price, we find it a good, not great value that you have to run out and get. But if you're looking in that price range, it's one of the better deals around. Check out the full review on PCMag.com.